Now, besides a lot of the well-known artists, sometimes we like to talk about some of these unknown artists people haven't actually heard of that have done something very unique or special for Texas music. So we're going to talk about one of these unknown artists right now, probably one you've never heard of, and his name is Willie Nelson. In fact, this is one of Willie Nelson's actual denim vests that he used and performed in. And even more unique about this vest is the fact that he actually used it in a TV episode called Nash Bridges. And it was a TV episode from September of 1997. And it was entitled Payback, and he played a convict in it named Earl Dobbs, where he teamed up with Joan Nash to capture his former crime partner. And this is a picture of Willie actually on the set of the shooting of that TV episode, wearing this very vest that you see in front of you. Now, we also have a Grammy nomination for Willie with Leon Russell for Heartbreak Hotel, a great shot of Willie and Waylon on there. And then we have a bunch of fun little trinkets down here, including things that were signed by Willie, buttons, all sorts of stuff. And these were all given to a lady named Ramona Stafford. Now, Ramona Stafford's connection with Willie is, if you look in his autobiography, you'll see a picture of him with her, because she was literally Willie Nelson's very first girlfriend in Abbott, Texas. Now, Willie Nelson's also famous for something else very special in Texas music, and that's his 4th of July picnics. Now, this is the very first 4th of July picnic that he ever did. And it was in Dripping Springs, Texas in 1973. And it was a concert that they did with Waylon Jennings and Rita Coolidge and Chris Christopherson and Tom G. Hall, Doug Sand. And it was really a very special show. And it became so special that Willie did these consecutively for years on. Now, this poster was actually designed by a poster artist out of Austin named Jim Franklin. And as you can see, the armadillo, that's in there because Jim Franklin, prior to this in 1971, started designing concert posters for a venue in Austin called the Armadillo World Headquarters. And so thus he used the armadillo. In fact, we had Jim design one of our t-shirts and posters for the museum. And while he was doing it, we were having a conversation. I couldn't help but tease him because he is an artist and they are fun to tease sometimes. And I told him, I said, Jim, you know, Dad, I was in the woods that night and found this armadillo and picked him up and looked at his belly and it said, copyright Jim Franklin. I go, how'd you do that? Well, if you know Jim Franklin, he is now out at night, in the middle of the night, chasing down armadillos, signing his name on their bellies, copyright Jim Franklin. Now, here's another poster that was also designed by Willie. And these posters evolved over the years, many different posters. And they did a lot of different ones for different shows of Gonzalez, Lukenbach, so many. But it was in 1983, this poster was designed by another Austin artist named Danny Garrett. And in fact, Willie liked this I Want You for Willie Nelson's 4th of July picnic so well, he used it consecutively from 1983 until 1987. And this poster was actually donated to us by Ramona Stafford, Willie's first girlfriend. So we're very grateful that she was able to give that to us, and it came directly from her estate. Now, here's some interesting pictures of Willie you don't usually see too often. It's a clean-cut looking Willie. In fact, that's what Willie would look like if you were at a place called the Night Owl in the town of West. That's where he would perform a lot. Now, we also have a very rare record here, and it's called the Test Press in Acetate, as we talked about before. And this is on the Pamper Music label, which was probably done in early 1960 or 61. And I don't know if Willie was indulging in the types of things back then that he does nowadays, but maybe the cops had pulled him over and confiscated his goods, so he went back to the studio and recorded this song called You Took My Happy Away. We'll have to ask Willie next time he comes in here. Now, what I really find fascinating about Willie is because he's been penning songs for so many years, from the 50s through the 60s, even that famous song for Patsy Cline, Crazy. But it was surprising to me that it took Willie Nelson until 1975 for him to get his very first Gold Record Award, and that was for an album called Red-Headed Strangers.